beyond the.
And one of the main reasons why we're America is still in Afghanistan is that is the underbelly of Russia, China, Pakistan, and India,
Exactly.
and it sits
And
on
Iraq,
roughly
and Iraq.
seven, yeah, and Iran, and it sits on roughly $7 to $14 trillion in untapped mineral ore and natural resources.
Exactly, with an outlet to the Indian Ocean. There you
Yeah,
have it. And so when you look at this, it's okay. It's like, if the United States actually believes that it can sustain something like this, and I don't, and I think it's clear that the water level for American neocon multinational corporate foreign policy is now above the eyebrows. But even if you believe in this kind of nonsense as a justification for what the United States military is doing in Afghanistan, why not just level with the American public, right? Why not simply say, we really didn't go in there to find bin Laden. Now, I happen to believe that the Israelis had far more to do with 9/11 than bin Laden, but that's
yeah,
probably a topic for another show.
yeah,
But okay,
yeah.
why don't we just simply level with the public and say, folks, let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with our own people. Let's be honest with the world and say we're in Afghanistan because we are trying to encircle all of the countries that you just mentioned, Rashid, and we have a lot of minerals and oil to steal from that country, and therefore that's why we're there. Now, yeah, of course, in this messianic complex that American foreign policy has always had, where we need to enshroud a really sleazy agenda with the flag and the cross, right? And I think Sinclair Lewis talked about that. This is really the truth of this whole thing. And so, although it hasn't happened to be in a few years now, there have been times in the past when, as a Lutheran pastor, I've been summoned to the San Antonio Military Medical Center here, which is the hub of American military medicine worldwide. And in the past, few years ago, it happened 2 or 3 times. Lutheran family would have a loved one severely injured in Iraq or Afghanistan, usually someone that had lost a lower torso and was on life support, and these terrible situations. And of course, I would dutifully appear when the American military did not have a Lutheran chaplain on duty, and the family wanted a Lutheran chaplain. I was the first civilian Lutheran clergyman on the list for whatever reason. So they'd call me up and I'd dutifully go out there. How do you face a fiance? How do you face siblings and parents of someone who has virtually ceased to live except on machinery, and say to them, and of course I don't say it to them, but I know one mother asked me later on the side, do you really think that my son's life is worth what we're doing there? How do you answer something like that as a pastor when you're a civilian guest in a military hospital, right?
Mhm,
But it's like
mhm.
that mother from Washington State in this case, she's thinking what I've already concluded is not in our national interest. And she's already, I could see the wheels turning in her mind with these canards that this Army colonel offered when he walked in and said that their son's life had been given for a great and noble cause in the defense of American freedom and the American way of life. I'm sitting here listening to this going, well, under the circumstances, I'm not on press television. I'm dealing with a dying kid here and his family, and I'm on America's premier military hospital with an Army colonel that either believes this stuff, which is scary enough, or who's saying this stuff because he's been commissioned to say it, which is probably even more reprehensible if that's the case. And I'm thinking in my own mind, this is where the rubber meets the road. This isn't worth it. This isn't a moral foreign policy. So whether you're talking about moral and political bankruptcy and blowback, or you're talking once again about what John Kerry was reminding us of in regard to the reserve currency, the American dollar and the reserve currency of the world, and the American dollar's threatened status in this regard, or the rise of political and military powers in my lifetime that could more than handle the United States if they became involved in a joint military and economic and political alliance against us and what we become. So